everybody, and you are watching Stephanie. I am with Windy City Crafts. So today I just wanted to show you guys how I make my my 10-inch mesh wreath. So what I mean by the 10-inch mesh wreath, the wreath frame itself is 14 inches, but the mesh that I get is 10 inches in length, and when I cut it to about 14 or 15 inches. And then the ribbon that I'll be putting on it, these I cut to 14 inches. So I already started this because this does take a while, and if I was to do it from start to finish, it would probably take about 3 hours, and I didn't want you guys waiting that long. So so I started with, I actually make my own work wreath. So what I do, I use my 14-inch wreath frame, and then what I do is there's actually a total of 18 pipe cleaners, and what I do, I just glue it on there, twist it, and then that helps me create where I want to put my mesh. So in one of my other videos, excuse me guys, I'm sorry, I have a cold, so I sound kind of nasally and gross. So in one of my other videos, you guys could see how I make my work wreath. So, all right, so here is 10 inches by 15 inches. And then what I do, I flip it upside down so that the curly side is face downward. And so what I do, and what's really cool about this mesh, it's got like a buffalo check, so it really helps keep it so it stays in the middle. So what you're just doing, you're just scrunching the mesh up. You're making sure that it stays in the middle. You don't want it to shift to one side. You just want to keep it nice in the middle. And then that creates that kind of look, that little bow. Here you go. So there's that. And then you're going to grab another piece. Hold on to this one. If your hands start to hurt, I don't have one handy, but I've seen other people do this. They grab like a hair clip or a clothespin to hold this one, so that way they're not holding this and then working with the other one. Just because, I mean, sometimes your hands could get kind of cramped up. Excuse me guys, I am so sorry. Okay, so here we go. So you're just gonna do the same thing. Make sure none of that mesh falls apart. You wanna keep this nice and tight. All right, and there is that. So you got the two pieces, they are together. And then what you're gonna do, you're just gonna find an empty pipe cleaner. Here, let me make sure. Yeah, I'll go right here. And you put it in the middle of the pipe cleaners, and then you give it a nice tight twist. You want to make sure it's very tight on there. And I'd give it about 3 or 4 twists. Like I said, well, let me move these out of the way because they're getting stuck to the mesh. So I pre-cut all these just because, like I said, this video would be like a 3-hour video instead of, I don't know, the hour that it's probably gonna take. All right, I only got a couple more left. So another thing that I do, I will talk while I work. I start from the outside ring of the wreath and then work my way inside. I find it that I find it a little bit easier doing it that way. And the reason why is because Mesh tends to stick to each other. Excuse me, guys. I am so sorry. Mesh tends to stick to each other. So when I do it that way, I'm starting to lose my voice. I know I probably shouldn't be doing this when I have a cold, but what better way to spend a day that you have a cold but craft? I know I should be resting, but this is my resting. This is my therapy when I do this. But anyways, back to the wreath. So the reason I do it that way, like I said, mesh tends to stick to each other. I find doing it that way just works best for me. That way I'm not like, because they get stuck and then it just drives me insane. So it just becomes harder to get that mesh, I guess. Get that mesh in with all this, all the other mesh. They get stuck, then you lose your pipe cleaner. So that's why instead of just doing it randomly, I do it from the outside and work my way in. All right, you're gonna give it a nice tight twist. I twist it about 3 or 4 times. You don't have to fluff it. I usually go around and fluff it when I'm fully done with it. I think I only have a couple more. Awesome. Sorry guys, let me get a sip of my Arizona. Okay, that's good. All right. Scrunch that up, hold that in your left or right hand. I am a lefty, so I find it easier to hold it in my left hand. Do that again. Make sure it stays in the middle. All right. Whoops. One, two, three, four. And you could kind of fluff them out. Doesn't look like much now, but once I get that decorative ribbon on there, it comes to life. And then I always add some sort of a picture or plaque or a sign, so you know I'll be doing that as well. So I know that I have 18 pipe cleaners on my wreath. So I always pre-cut 36 of my 10 by 14 inch mesh, just because I like being a little bit organized. I hate having extras just lying around. So I always pre-cut them and then just have them ready for me. Let me bring this bad boy back over here. So I am using a 14-inch wreath wire. However, when you get the mesh and the ribbon on here, it turns, that 14 inches turns into like maybe 16 or 18 inches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now these are all, let me go around, make sure I didn't forget one. I don't think I did, because I'm usually, like I say, I have the 18 in here. That means I would need 36 of my mesh ribbon. So what I'm going to do now, just because like I said, the pipe cleaners get lost. They get lost. So I'm gonna go throughout my wreath and kind of find my pipe cleaners, because that's what I'm gonna use for my ribbon when I'm ready to attach them to the wreath. This is just what I like to do. See, I mean, these get lost in here. So I just like to prepare myself. There's that. And once I'm done with this part, I'll go ahead and start fluffing up the mesh. Okay, I think this is the last of them. Okay, all right. Actually, there's really not much fluffing that needs to be done, so maybe I'll do that when I'm completely done with the ribbon and all. Alrighty, so I'm only using 3 different types of ribbon. So this is going to be throughout the whole wreath. So again, I have 18 pipe cleaners. So what I did, I cut out 18 of each ribbon. And I cut these to 14 inches. And then I cut the corners of it to create that nice, cute little ribbon look. Dovetail. I think that's what it's called. No one's corrected me yet, so I think I am right on about that. All right, so here we go. All right, so one is shorter than the other, but that's okay because it's still gonna come out looking very, very cute. All right, so you're gonna pinch it right in the middle. And then for this, I do the opposite. I know I told you guys before with the mesh, I start with the outside and work my way in. For the ribbon, I don't know why, I find this easier. I work from the inside of the wreath and work my way out. So you see all these pipe cleaners sticking out in the center, or closer in the middle of the wreath. That's where I start, and then there's some in the middle here, and then there's some in the back here. So I start with this part first. And again, you want to make sure that it's down. You tighten up that tighten up the pipe cleaner. I twist it 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, because I'm a crazy person. I like making sure it's nice and secure. And another thing, I use wire ribbon. I cannot stress enough how awesome wired ribbon is. It's my go-to. It just maneuvers better. It holds better. It's just better. Although on my Grinch wreath, I know I did use ribbon that didn't have wire in it. And you know what? I mean, it didn't look awful. It looked okay. It just kind of flopped down instead of where the wired ribbon holds up very nice. So, but that's okay. I mean, it still came out really cute. It worked out perfectly. Like my Grinch wreath had, the one had like presents on it. I think the other one said ho ho ho, but they were very small. So I wasn't really worried whether it'd be ribbon or not, or I'm sorry, wired ribbon or not, just because they were just such a small part of the wreath. So I wasn't too concerned about it. So as you can see, I'm using 2 of the 2.5-inch ribbon, and then I believe this deer one is probably about a 1.5-inch ribbon. You don't have to do it that way. You could do it however way you want to do it. Sorry, I was just thinking. Like I think I've made wreaths that I used all 3 of the 2.5-inch ribbon, or I just like doing it this way. But again, you could play with it. Do what you want. You could do 3 of the 2.5-inch ribbon. You could do 3 of the 1.5-inch ribbon. You could do 2 of the 1.5-inch ribbon, and then 1 of the 2.5-inch ribbon. You could just do whatever you want. This is just how I do it, depending on the ribbon that I find at craft stores. Okay, so that is it for the inner part. So now I'm going to work on that middle part. I'm trying to think of how some of these are going to be upside down. So you know what? I'm probably going to have to fix this. Some of them are going to be upside down, and I don't want that. Because when it's laying on the wall, I don't want some of my deers to be upside down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix these 2 right here, because I don't know if you guys could tell, like these deer up here are facing this way, and then these deer down here are facing this way. I don't want it like that. I want all my deers to be facing the correct way. So I'm just going to flip these upside down really fast. Because I am OCD like that. I think I'm going to tighten this one a few more times. It sounded like it cracked on me. Okay. All right, let's work our way around. So again, I want these all to face the correct way. Take another sip of my Arizona. Sorry guys, if you guys could hear me drinking. I'm a loud drinker apparently. Or maybe it's just when I'm sick. Tighten that up. Twist it a few times. And then on to the next one. All right, hold on. I'm getting confused here. That's facing down. Okay. Yep, I want that one facing this way. And then again, I don't fluff these until until the wreath is completely full. Okay, so you scrunch it in the middle. That's all I do. I just kind of eyeball it and then I have it in the middle. And then you just twist it on in there. You know what? And doing it this way from the inside of the wreath out, it also helps you keep track of which pipe cleaners you, like how many more you have left. So, okay, do I want it that way? Yeah. Because like I said, these pipe cleaners get lost in the mesh. So this is just a good way of keeping track of how many more you have left, so they don't get lost in between all this. I probably twist it way more than I'm supposed to, but I like making sure that they are securely fastened in there. Okay, now on to the outer ring. Again. All right, if I'm having it face that way, then I think I'll do it like this. I just want to make sure that all my deers are faced the same way. Yeah, see guys, to me this kind of stuff is so relaxing. I love doing arts and crafts. Love, love, love it. And it's so rewarding once you're done with them. Because you're like, oh my gosh, like I made that. I made that creation. At least that's just how I feel. All right, now we're getting, oops. Okay, hold on. What's happening here? That's, you know what? I'm not going to change it. It's fine. It'll work itself out. Especially this is the outer, yeah, this is the outer ring, so I'm actually not too worried about these, just because they kind of don't, they show, but they don't show as much as the ones in the middle. So I'm not too worried on how they look. Pinch it in the middle. All right, this is the last one. All right, so now before I fluff them, you can still see, oh, no, you can't see nothing. You can still see pieces of the pipe cleaner kind of sticking out. I go through it, I cut them down. Again, this is just my preference. I know it's an extra step, but I think I like the way it looks better when those are cut down rather than them just sticking up. And then what I do is I fold them down, because when you cut pipe cleaners, there's like a sharp, there's wires in there, so they're sharp. So I fold them down. Make sure you don't snag any of the ribbon or the mesh with your scissors when you're doing this. So I think I've done that before, but oops, I probably just did it again right now. I think I've done it before, but I kind of camouflaged my rip. So it was a tiny, tiny tear, but you could barely notice. Make sure you don't forget any. Okay, that's it. I know what I do is a little bit more time consuming, but it's worth it in the long run because then your wreath just looks prettier. You don't want any pipe cleaner sticking out. Okay, so I'm just kind of going in the middle here and fluffing this middle section out. So now I'm gonna go around, fluff up the mesh a little bit, mess around with it. Doesn't have to be perfect because no matter how you do it, it's gonna look good. So let me move my drink out of the way. All right. Okay, so here is the fun part. So now what you're just gonna do, you're just gonna go around the wreath and then you're just gonna spread out that ribbon. I don't like when two of the same colors are touching, so I interchange them. And so you tied the ribbon very, very tightly on your wreath, so really you could just kind of manhandle the ribbon when you're doing this this step. They are not going anywhere. So again, I'm just kind of working the outside part first, do the middle part, just because I tend to kind of lose track of what I'm doing. So I just find that system to be a little bit easier. The more I make these wreaths, the more I like figure out a nice system. Oops. I cannot wait to put the picture on here, or I'm sorry, the wall decor on here, it's gonna go perfect with the ribbon. I'm so excited. If you want to curl them a little bit, you could do that. Whatever you want to do. See how they're kind of curled a little bit? Oh, it's kind of off screen. I just kind of pull it and it kind of bounces and it makes kind of like a little curl. You could do that. I love working with wired ribbon. It's my fave. I mean, you could even do that with these. Here, let's see if you could kind of tell. I'm just kind of pulling it and then twisting it. Actually, that looks kind of cute. I might do that with all of them. I've never done that before. That's, again, another thing that's going to be super time consuming. Maybe I'll do just the reindeer like that. Still pretty cute. Huh. I know, I like that. Actually, it doesn't take too long. You just gotta kind of do that. And then it kind of creates a cute little curl. That's fun. That was fun. I know I'm gonna have to end up just kind of fluffing them anyways. Huh. Give it a little curl. Give it a little curl. That's actually pretty cute. See, you learn something every day. I've never done this technique. Now I'm always gonna do it. Okay, where are we with this? Give it a curl. Go ahead, curl this one. Ooh, that curl does not look very nice. Actually, how would it look on the outside? So I guess you could change it up. If you want to curl it from the inside out, if you want to curl it upwards, cute. I like finding out new things. It makes me so excited. Give it a curl. It's like your finger's like a curling iron. I don't know why I'm doing this because I know it's just going to get messed up within a second, especially when I put the picture or the sign on. I know I'm just going to have to redo it, so I'm going to stop and I'm just going to focus on fluffing the ribbon out. So let's focus on that. We are almost done. All right, that is it. So you see how this kind of came a little bit more to life. It has a story now. We got reindeers. So let me go pull out my picture that I want to put on here. So this I just made. I don't know if it's going to be upside down, but I'll do it both ways. Okay, so this is made with Chalk Couture. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip this upside down. I wanna make sure that it's, okay. Make sure that it doesn't move on me. I have my floral wire here and I just eyeball this. Get your handy dandy staple gun. So what I do, it's gonna be hard to tell, but I fold my floral wire in half, place it on the board, hold it down, so that way it's not going anywhere. And then you wanna jiggle, make sure that that's not moving. See how it's kind of moving? So I give it a couple more staples. And there you go. Now it's nice and sturdy. It's on there. It's not going anywhere. Do the same thing on this side. All right. See how that it's loose. So let's go ahead and add a couple more staples. Okay, that is good. Very important, you wanna make sure that you get a board thick enough for the staples. Otherwise, they're just gonna come on the, they're gonna go through the sign and you don't want that. Okay, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Okay, so here's the wreath. Okay guys, I'm sure you can't forget the wreath. And then here we go. Oh my gosh. This is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. This is freaking awesome. I'm so excited right now. All right, so here, before I show, so what you want to do, there's that hole in the middle of the wreath. So I straighten up my wires to make sure that they go back there So you want to move those wires to the middle of that empty hole of the wreath. Okay. All right, let's put this back, make sure. Okay, and then you're gonna hold it to where you want it. Ooh, make sure it doesn't move anywhere. Ooh, I think it moved a little bit, but that's okay. We could just maneuver it. So you're gonna find those wires. Got ribbon back here, you got mesh back here. All right, there's one set of my wires. Where is that other set? They're in here, it's in here somewhere. Oh, there they are. All right. All right, so let me just flip this upside down one more time. Whoops. Make sure it didn't really move. Okay, it looks okay. All right, so what I do, when I tie it, I want to tie it on the frame of the wreath. So I have one of my ties on the inner circle of the wreath frame, and then I put the other one in between some of these frames that like the mesh is on. So again, I'm just gonna give it a nice twist, and I'm not gonna twist it too much just in case the placement is off. That way I don't twist it too much and I could still go in and fix it. So you're gonna want to do it slightly tight, but you don't want to do it too tight to where you're gonna squish the mesh. Okay, I tied that one way too much, but anyways. All right, so there is that. It's placed on there. I'm gonna hold it up because I'm gonna show you, this is just what I do. I just wanna hold it up real fast. This is something that I had to eyeball when I'm, before I make my final, okay, this isn't working. You know what, I'll go on my step stool and I'll just look at it that way. But overall, I think this looks very, very gorgeous. You know what, there's some ribbons stuck under here. So you kind of want to make sure that those come back out. You paid for the ribbon, so you want to make sure that it's being shown. Where are you? What is happening? Okay, so yeah, make sure all that ribbon that's hiding underneath your picture comes back out. You want that to be shown. You want every single piece to be shown. And then again, you're just gonna have to maneuver it because if you're like me, I don't like when two of the same ribbons are touching. I am crazy like that. turn this. Oh my God, there's so much under here. Kind of twisting these up so it kind of frames the decor a little bit. Kind of gives the frame some volume and some, I don't know, it gives it something when you're curling them. This is like, I don't know why I haven't done this sooner. It definitely gives the wreath some kind of like life when you're doing this. It is pretty cool. All right, I think I got all the ribbon out from the back of that picture. So let me take a look at it. Let me get on my step stool because I can't see if it is actually in the middle. Just curl that one a little bit. So cute. Oh my gosh. Let me get this stuff out of the way. I don't want any eyesores when I'm doing this. Get this out of the way. And this is actually pretty good to do. Then you could go around, see what you need to kind of fluff or maneuver. Very, very, very cute. This looks so cute. Just kind of play with it. This looks awesome. All right, so the important thing was I wanted to make sure that this was in the middle. So I know I have the wire wreaths on there, but I like to do this again just to give it that little bit extra security. Okay, there's some mesh on that side. There's some mesh on this side. This looks like it's in the middle to me. So I'm gonna do this as fast as I can. I'm gonna flip this upside down. Make sure it doesn't move. And I think it did. Okay. Okay, so what I do is all this extra mesh back here. I grab my staple gun and I literally just staple the mesh to the board. Just to give that extra, now it's not going anywhere. It's on there for good. So that's, again, just something I do, because actually these wires really loosened up. So let me untwist them so I could tighten them up a little bit more. Because that'll just be the backup if the staples, if anything happens to the staples. All right. So that is it. That was fun. Aren't these fun to make? I love them. I love doing these. Whoops. And then again, I just fold, whoops, that didn't work very well. Here, we'll do that. I just fold that down just because it is sharp. And you don't want anything scratching up your wall or your door. So I always fold up anything that I cut off. Okay. Oh my gosh, we are done. There, I just kind of twisted it around the wire. All right. See what I said about, look at it, I mean, it's all, I flipped it upside down and now the ribbon's going crazy. It's everywhere. So just play around with it. Play around with the ribbon. But that is it, guys. You just made your beautiful mesh wreath. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Please follow my my page. It is Chalk It Up, but I am going by Windy City Crafts. I am from Chicago, so that is my business name. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night. Bye.